Hello, I'm your host today, Julia Yorks. I am here with John Tran, the head of development for Kinolime, and we are so excited because we are going to talk some scripts today for the Script to Screen second annual competition. We've got some actors with us in the studio, and they are going to be reading some snippets from the top 3 contenders for this year's prize. So, John, hello, welcome.
Yeah, Julia, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited.
I'm so excited.
Our new screenwriter, blacklist writer.
Yes.
I mean, OMG.
Go on.
Down.
Of course. Yeah. No, I'm so excited. I've worked with Kinolime in the past, and I think what you guys are doing is so exciting because this is the largest screenplay competition prize, which is essentially that the winner gets their script optioned and then also produced with an up to $15 million budget.
I know, we're crazy, right?
It's insane. A lot of working screenwriters that I know have never had their work produced. Yeah. So it's huge.
Typically competitions, you get like an option or a small fee, whatever, but we're really like going for it. We really believe in the audience and we want to hear what everyone has to say. So we're like so pumped. And these 3 screenplays, like unbelievable. The talent pool this year is like insane. Yeah. What did you think of Mob Mentality?
Well, first off, for everyone who has read it or to just refresh your memory, the premise of Mob Mentality is a 13-year-old suburban boy believes that he is the reincarnation of infamous mobster John Gotti. And he thinks that his reason for being back is to kill his arch rival, Sammy the Bull. So a hilarious script. It's listed as Good Fellas meets Good Boys, which I think, to me, that's an instantly perfect, that sells.
Perfect mashup.
Yeah.
You actually couldn't pick a better combo.
No, it's
fun.
great.
So fun.
It's so fun. I think, for me, the script really lives and dies in the character of Nate. If done wrong, it can feel too sticky. And I think that this way is what happens when you do it right.
Oh, yeah. And the author captured the voice. Like, I went to actually high school with John Gotti's grandsons. So, like, I've seen, like, how they talk. Yeah. Like, and he just, like, nailed it. So I'm, 1, very impressed, but also 2, frightened that he might be connected.
Or he just watches a lot of mom movies.
That's right, exactly.
No, it's great. I thought it was so fun, and just the way that the story progressed. It was a great read, and I think that's really what you're looking for as a reader, as someone who's looking to make a movie, is how does the pacing of this script move? And you couldn't put it down. You just breezed through it.
That's exactly what I would say. It was. I remember when I first got it, I was reading it, and then it was over. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I check my phone, I do an email, I'll do some push-ups. No, I literally couldn't put it down, and it was done. And I hope everyone out there, go to kinolime.com, download Mob Mentality, read, rate, and vote, and then you have a chance to make cinema history by, if you love the screenplay, pushing it through the process and getting made. You can see this on screen.
So we're just gonna jump right in to our reading from Mob Mentality. In this scene, it's one of the very first scenes of the movie. The first time that we meet Nate, our protagonist, he's having breakfast with his family, his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Siegel. The role of Nate will be played by John Tsimis. The role of Mr. Siegel will be played by Kevin Bartini. And the role of Mrs. Siegel will be played by Danielle McMath. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Interior Siegel house morning. Title, present day. The Siegels eat breakfast in their suburban home. Mrs. Siegel, Mr. Siegel, and Nate Siegel. 13, Long Island body, Staten Island attitude. The Siegels read the paper. Nate chomps a breakfast sausage.
Ever feel like you were born in the wrong era? Fuck eras! For as long as I can remember, it felt like I was born in the wrong family.
The Siegels sip green drinks.
I mean, seriously, what the fuck are these people eating?
Nate devours the sausage.
You couldn't pay me to ingest that sausage.
In unison, the Siegels swap sections of the newspaper.
And the books and the newspapers and the bullshit encyclo-fucking-pedia Britannicas. These fucking people own a bookstore, and even at home, they never stop reading.
Everyone stop reading.
Nate deliberately chews the final bite of sausage.
I wasn't reading.
Interior car day. Mrs. Siegel drives. Mr. Siegel in the passenger seat reads the paper.
See what I mean?
Nate sits in the back, the word Italia emblazoned on his monochromatic blue tracksuit.
Decent people, all things considered. But if I couldn't make heads or tails of it, The Siegel swore I wasn't adopted, but Maron!
Between the lingo, the clothes, the sausage, we see that Nate loves Italy, which wouldn't necessarily be strange, but for the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Siegel are clearly Jewish. Nate's POV, Mr. Siegel's yarmulke.
My hair was my best asset. Hell no, I wasn't about to mess it up.
As Nate checks his hair in the car window reflection, we see a Tesla in the next lane.
What a beaut.
The Tesla speeds off, revealing that Nate's comment referred to a garbage truck.
The Kenworth T370 Sidewinder. Not as reliable as the old rear loader models, but hey, what is these days?
Nate lowers the window. Newspaper whips around. Nate's gelled hair doesn't budge.
Hey, Nate, buddy, that odor, it's a bit unpleasant, don't you think?
Nate inhales. Pure bliss. This is Nate's bakery.
Have you smelled the rubbish long enough?
Nate sticks his head out the window like a dog. As he inhales, the odor triggers some sort of trance/vision. We see Nate's vision. A garbage truck is hijacked. The driver tossed out. As the hijackers drive, they toss the guy his hat.
Nate!
Nate snaps back to reality. Considers telling the Siegels about the vision.
Part of me wanted to tell him about these things I saw, but I didn't want people thinking I was some kind of weirdo nutbag or something.
So instead, he just rolls up the window. Exterior high school day. The car pulls up to a public high school.
New school. Exciting stuff. So, scale of 1 to 10, what's the excitement level here? An 8?
I don't want to go to this Robaccia school.
Oh, I don't blame you. Looks like there's some pretty tough hombres in there.
Students file in. Standard suburban kids. Dangerous minds. This is not.
It's a sad moment when a son realizes he can beat up his old man. For me, that moment took place when I was 5 fucking years old.
Interior, the Siegel's living room. 5-year-old Nate tackles Mr. Siegel as a Yankees game plays on TV in the background.
When I pummeled the guy for talking during a no-hitter.
Hey, ow! I wasn't talking to the pitcher, stop, ow!
Back to scene.
Neil, you're not helping.
I'm pointing out the hombres.
The guy's right. I'm not safe here.
Well, you should have thought of that before you got yourself.
Series of shots. Nate escorted out of various schools.
Expelled.
Hebrew school.
Expelled.
Catholic school.
Expelled.
Experimental New Age
Your
school.
journey is no longer with us.
Back to scene. Mrs. Siegel looks at Nate in the rearview mirror.
This school is our last option, so please make it work.
I don't need no formal education for a career in waste management.
My son will not be a garbage man.
Waste management!
Hey, for the record, there's nothing wrong with that line of work.
Neil, not helping.
It's a phase. He'll grow out of it.
The streets are my education.
What streets? Where are these alleged streets?
Not for nothing, but I'm leaning toward dropping out.
What?
Oh, no. My son is not dropping out of high school.
Why not?
Because the Siegels don't drop out of school. My parents graduated college. Their parents graduated college. That's what we do. We're a family of dieducks, okay? Please go inside so you aren't truant on your first day.
The lady was such a brainiac. I didn't know what she was saying half the time. Always using fancy words like truant.
Furthermore,
but as much as I didn't get these people, I gotta admit, it was a two-way street. I mean, they didn't know how to handle me neither.
And scene. Awesome work, everybody.
Very funny. Very funny.
Hilarious. What did you guys think? How did that scene feel for you?
Well, it felt really good. Like, getting into the character makes me feel completely different, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You're not John Gotti reincarnated yourself. You're just acting.
Sadly, no.
How about you guys?
it really is so funny to actually hear the words coming out of a young boy's mouth. When, as you said earlier, as opposed to reading it, it's of course hilarious, but then to actually hear it, and to see it would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's got to be a lot of fun. You get like a free pass to say fuck and stuff like that.
That's why I'm happy about it.
Get in trouble. So this has got to be great for you. And you did a great job.
But from the screenwriting side, this is what does so well. Is like it captures. You just get the character.
Yeah.
Like you open up, and it's common to do this sort of like montage-y introduction in different settings over the course of a few pages. But I mean, it just crushes like the character. You totally get who he is and his family dynamic and everything going on.
Well, something that I always tell screenwriters that I work with is, you have one chance to make a first impression, and you really need to sell who this character is and introduce them to us in the most impactful way. Right. And another thing that I think is interesting is I think this form of voiceover harkens back to the mob movies of, the 90s.
Scorsese.
For sure.
He does that all the time.
And I think that sometimes it gets frowned upon because it's not done in the way that's the most impactful always. And this feels the most impactful way that you could utilize this. Yeah. Playing his inner monologue, and it acts as that homage.
And beyond that, hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, up here, you crushed it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Really crushed it.
So funny.
It's just the little details too, like he's wearing the Italia monochromatic tracksuit. Also, what I love about this is how sparingly a lot of action is used, because we don't want to interrupt the flow of this dialogue, because that's what makes this is the characters and the dialogue, and it just feels really, really real.
Yeah.
And something the writer does extremely well is like the detail you're talking about, like the scene when we think we're looking at the Tesla, but it's actually the garbage truck. Like that's so idiosyncratic, and it just captures, like right there you get it.
Yeah.
And he's sniffing at the window like with the gar. Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
It's great.
The thing I like about this script, I'm also a stand-up comedian, and I have been for 25 years. Oh. And the thing about this script is it's like what we would call a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. It's like when you get a joke or something, and you're just like, there's this paranoia sometimes as a comic that joke just came so easily and so good. I must have heard somebody else do it. Mm-hmm. So the idea of why have I not seen a mob movie about a 13-year-old kid?
Yes, 100%.
Like that's
100%
one of those. Just how did not somebody grab it?
When this came through the submission process, one of our creative executives here, Danny, he flagged it immediately and was just like, he said to me, like, John, you got to read this now. Yeah. Right. So that was like when he does that, when I get it from my team, it's like, okay, like I want to stop everything. Like this must be gold. And like when I finished reading it, I was like, this is like the thing. It just falls from heaven. Like this is too good to be true.
And the thing when mob movies as a genre, it's so easy to do it wrong.
Yes.
And you have The Sopranos, and you have Goodfellas, and you have The Godfather, and then you have 75 direct-to-DVD starring the third-rate actors from The Sopranos, and they're done wrong. And then you also have stuff like Analyze This that just took. Okay, it's about the mafia, but it's something totally different and refreshing.
What's cool about this too is all the movies that you mentioned, they typically start with a young character kind of getting led into this world. And what's fun about this is that in his mind, he's already in the world.
Yeah.
Right? So he's a young character who doesn't need to be shown the ropes because he's showing everyone the ropes.
Yeah. I mean, it's already hilarious before we even get into the premise of being John Gotti reincarnation. Yeah. Like, just as a general mobster, it's funny. Right. And then it goes to this other level, and that's when we really get into the story.
And I think one thing that I just want to say is I think what a lot of screenwriters maybe overlook when you're starting out is how important your premise is. Mm-hmm. How much just saying Goodfellas meets Good Boys is enough for someone to say, I want to read that script.
Yeah.
And how much that hook of a 13-year-old kid thinking he's John Gotti makes someone who loves mob movies say, oh, okay, that's a twist I haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. All right, everyone, on behalf of Kinolime, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Julia Yorks. This is John Schramm. We've got John, we've got Kevin, we've got Danielle, and let's make a movie together.